Hello, this is Robert Goodman for Positive Strokes. I'm glad that you are checking out my new video here. We're going to talk today about starting a new way. Before we get to starting a new way, I want to talk about life in recovery when we first start. You know, as you go to meetings and you hear the stories and you can relate to the issues that are being expressed, you begin to have compassion for your fellow addict of the problems and situations and the trauma that they've been through. Softens you up from that hardness that addiction has taken over you. You start to feel compassion for your fellow man and your fellow woman in recovery. When I was going through the process in the beginning, the first thing that I had set in my mind was to make my life better. To make my life better. I had to start at the bottom. I realized that my way did not work. I've tried numerous ways to get high successfully. I tried numerous ways to live the fast life successfully, and I failed over and over again. So I realized that I had to go down a path that I've never been down before. Was I nervous? Was I afraid? Was I scared? Oh, yes. But I knew my way did not work. I had to find a new way to have a good life. I noticed that after 30 days, the body got back into shape. My cheeks started to fill out. My eyes got clearer. My mind, some of the fog had left. But in the process of that, I found out that routine behavior changed my direction. What I mean is, when I was out there using, my whole goal was to get more, to never run out, to party, to have fun, be the big guy where everybody looks at because he's got the sack. In that lifestyle, there was constant drama, chaos, and manipulation. But I love the chaos, I love the drama, I love the manipulation, I loved all that because all other addicts that were out there made me feel like I was somebody special because I had a bag of dope. But as I was in recovery, the whole situation and my outlook had changed. Why? Well, if you go to a detox, they have a regimen that they do with you. You get up early, you take your medication, you have meetings, breakfast, meetings, lunch, meetings. and even meetings before dinner. My schedule was full. I didn't have time to think about nothing else but what I was doing at the present. And that was what the plan was. To take my focus off the pleasures of being high and focus on what getting high has done to me. That did not work well with my brain. Why it did not work well with my brain? Because now my mind was in total conflict with the normal way that I've done things about getting high, and now recovery's coming in and changing, and I'm being confused up here. The brain is being confused. But as time went on, I liked the way I looked in the mirror. I like that I had the same money and the same cigarettes and the same lighter I had the night before. I like who I was becoming. I was finding out that what I was seeing through my addiction eyes, my active addiction eyes, was totally false. Now, I want to get to the point where I want to get to about the rest of our session here. Starting a new life. Well, my old friends, they like to get high. Most of them. So I can't hang with them. That's not going to work. I have to have a new set of friends. I have to have a new way of life. As I progressed in my recovery, each and every day that I got better, I liked the person that I was becoming, and I didn't want to go down that path no more. But I felt kind of lonely because I destroyed my friends. I destroyed family members that cared about me. I did all that. So I was left alone because my addiction brought me all the way down there where I destroyed my relationships. So what am I supposed to do? I'm bored. I'm in recovery. What do? We got a cell phone, we go to Facebook. Oh, yeah, because there's plenty of drama and something to do on Facebook to keep our mind going outside of doing recovery. Then what happened was people that were in the program were posting on Facebook, posting their pictures and sharing how good they was looking. And you know, the funny thing, women, they love to take pictures of themselves when they feel like they're looking good and they're looking sexy. And a lot of guys would see these pictures and say, wow, man, I like to get with this girl. She got it going on. She looked good. She's in recovery. But I didn't think like that because I didn't want somebody that have no time in recovery, don't know how to live life on life's terms, just getting in the door. And then I asked myself, what do I have to offer to a woman? I'm just in recovery. I don't have too much to offer. What do I have to offer? Oh yeah, I get a check every month. Yeah, I do. I get a retirement check. Yeah, so what? Okay. But there's nothing else. So I had to focus on Robert. I know it's hard in the beginning in recovery just to focus on yourself when you want attention because you've made some progress in your recovery, or because you're probably lonely and you want some companionship, and you know that the women that are in the program, they understand about addiction, so you want to jump on that bandwagon. But I had to look at myself. For me, I had to get Robert together first. I had to. I had to discipline my desire for wanting to feel needed by another human being or liked by another human being because I was messed up. My mind was messed up. My body was trying to recover from what I did to it. What I did to my body, it doesn't recover overnight. Just because the outer looked good, the inside was still working hard to get normal. I realized that I had to do repetition. I had to eat in the morning. I had to eat lunch. I had to eat dinner. I had to get me enough rest. I had to take my medication if I had to on the right time. I had to put some normal activity back into my life. Because see, in my addiction, there was no normal. And, I didn't know what to expect that day. I didn't know what I was going to have to do or whatever. But the main goal and the only goal was to get more dope. But in my past case, I had too much of that dope that I could kill myself. Yeah, and that's a bad feeling. That's a bad feeling. But I choose not to want to live that life no more because it took me down a rabbit hole so deep that I had to change. So now I have a little time in recovery. I'm going to meetings, but I still feel kind of lonely. So what am I going to do? I want to meet people, You tell people I'm new, you ready, and they pass a sign list and they give you a bunch of numbers. And, you're supposed to call these people, But I didn't do it like that. When I went to a meeting and I heard a story that related to me, that I could feel a connection about that story, I went and got that person's phone number because I wanted to talk to them. I started associating with people that had time in the program. I didn't associate with the newcomers. I associated with the people that had time in the program that could give me something that helped me along the way. The only thing that a new person could give me is the pain and what they experienced in the rabbit hole and what made them change their direction. But the people that have time is going to tell me how to live in recovery. The people that have time is going to teach me how to live in recovery. The people that have time is going to teach me how to live in recovery. I want to know what do they do to keep themselves in the same footing day in and day out. Oh, but I'm going to talk about moving a little bit more, which is a problem a lot of times. All of a sudden, you see this person in the meetings, and it seems like your whole head lights up, and you start talking to that person. Me, I wanted friends, so I talked to everybody, male and female. But I kept it above board. I wanted attention, so I had socialized. I played games with them. We went and did things as a group. But I was not looking for a relationship because I have nothing to offer. I need to get me together. It's like you're getting ready to go out on a date. You get all dressed up, you clean your car, you go down there and pick her up, and you ain't got a dime in your pocket to take anywhere. That's not a date. It's the same philosophy. If I'm not strong in my recovery, then how I'm going to deal with a relationship when it's got to be situations that come up and face problems and hurt feelings and all that? Am I prepared to handle that type of pressure and keep myself clean and sober? Something to think about. You know, I noticed that women in recovery, in their addiction, a lot of them look really bad. But after a week, they look like they ain't never, ever used a drug in their life. It's like a transformation. I watch people come into the program of recovery, get in a relationship, and they both end up leaving and using so many times. And I was told that we have to go what we have to go through to get where we need to be. We have to go through what we have to go through so we can get where we need to be. Something to think about. So, as I started building my life and focusing on work, recovery, things got better. I saved money. I moved up in my job. I was eventually able to get a car. And interesting thing is, when I was in my addiction or my life prior to all that, I was searching for that woman. I was searching for that family. I'm searching to make that family. I'm searching to have that perfect family and relationship with another human being. And I was picking all the wrong people. Because we didn't lock. We didn't see eye to eye. We didn't work together. Everybody was worrying about their own situation and their own trauma of the past and wallowing in that situation and not growing. So the relationships failed. But the interesting thing is when I stopped looking and I focused on my recovery and I focused on working, making as much money as I possibly can while I'm in good health and living in my means. For instance, I had a thing that every time I got paid, I would buy something for my home where I lived at. Whether it was $2, $5, $20, $50, it didn't matter. I would buy one thing for the house. And then I would buy my normal stuff, and whatever was left over, I kept it and saved it. The interesting thing is, when I did meet somebody and I had saved, they lived 35, 40 minutes away from me. So I didn't have a car, but they had a car. So they would come down, pick me up, and I said, I can't let them do that all the time. I couldn't let her do that all the time. I had to take responsibility for our relationship. So I didn't buy a car right then because I didn't think I was ready for it. I didn't think I was ready for that payment. Because you're talking about $500 plus insurance, you're talking about $700 a month taken out. And I wasn't ready to give up $700 a month. So what I would do is, I would rent a U-Haul pickup truck for the weekend. And I ride out there and I see her and I come back and that Sunday afternoon I would drop it off, or Sunday evening I would drop it off. And I would do that. And then when I started figuring out I'm spending just as much money, or maybe just a little bit more than I would do for a new vehicle. So, someone in the program of recovery was a salesperson at a car dealer, and they made sure that I got a vehicle. That's in recovery. In recovery, the people that have time, when they see you come to meetings, when they see that you're growing in the meetings and you're growing in your recovery and you're doing what you need to be doing, they start to get close to you. They start to let you into their inner circle. Because the interesting thing is, when you're in recovery, so many people leave and go back out. And a lot of them die. And that's just the reality of recovery. That's the reality of addiction. And we need to understand that. We need to understand that if we pick up another drug, that it might be our last. We need to understand that. You know, and the interesting thing is that I learned that once you stop, the streets still keep spinning. Situations in the street changes, dealers change, people change, because they're in and out of jail, they done did some hokey doke stuff, so they go to another city, whatever, they hiding out. So everything that changes on a regular basis. And when you've been clean for a while and you go back out there, you don't know what to expect. You don't know the quality of what you're getting, and none of that. You're taking a chance with your life. I choose not to. So, once I build this relationship with this woman, then my life started to get full. I had people in the program that became my friends, that we would talk, conversate. But I learned not to get in other people's business. You know, I learned not to say, well, you should do this, you should do that. My philosophy in that is, if you do this, this could happen. If you do this, this could happen. If you do this, this could happen. It's up to you to make the decision what you want to do, because it's your life. That was my philosophy with everybody. It is your choice to make your decisions. It is your choice to make your decision. So, I want you all to understand that recovery is a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle. And it takes time. To build your own family and friends, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Don't rush it. Like I said, when I was looking for the right woman, I picked all the wrong women. When I stopped looking, the right one came to me. Because of who I was, the way I am that day, and way I changed my life around, and I was honest. I told her I was recovering. I told her I've been to prison. I told her I've been in the military. I told her these things. I told her about me. I didn't hide. And see, recovery made me not be ashamed that I'm an addict. Recovery made me not be ashamed that I'm an addict. I made a mistake and I hurt myself and others. I made a mistake and used and got addicted and hurted other people. But most of all, I destroyed my own life. But I overcame the situation. I overcame the situation by doing the work. I didn't need no woman sitting next to me, hugged all up on me, talking, calling me baby while I'm trying to work the steps. That didn't work. That's not going to work because I'm not working on myself because I'm focused on her. They say in the program, do not get in a relationship unless you got a year clean. Then they say if you are in a relationship, don't do nothing. Focus on you. By focusing on you, you'll be able to focus on your family. I learned that in recovery, the first person we have to make amends to is to ourselves. If we look at all the things that we did in our addiction, do you think it's sensible and smart move to get into a relationship before you get yourself together? Do you think that a relationship is going to make you have a sound recovery? Well, I'm a married man, I'm going to tell you, relationship takes work. It takes work on two parties, you and your significant other. She's got to be willing to work 100%, and you got to be willing to work 100%. An interesting thing is you're both imperfect, so you're both going to make mistakes. So you're going to have to learn how to overcome the mistakes, do the next right thing, and move along as a team, which takes a lot of work. So if it takes work on doing that, how much time will you have for recovery? How much time will you have to work on yourself? I think I would rather work on myself first, get myself together, get myself right, and then when I'm confident and I have enough, I've worked the steps and I've done all 12 and I'm started back and I'm working and everything is going well, then I can sit back, I have something to offer. Then some of the pitfalls that may come, I will not fall in them. The interesting thing is that in recovery, it teaches you to do things right. So that means if I'm in a relationship with one woman, I can't be sleeping with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 women. I can't be trying to hit this one while I'm with this one. That's addictive behavior. I'm not supposed to do addictive behavior because it leads me down the road of using drugs again. So I can't use addictive behavior. That doesn't work for me. It gets me in trouble. So what should I do to make the situation better? Work on my relationship with that one person. And I found out that if I work on the relationship with that one person, everything comes full circle. Because we grow to be a certain way. We grow together. We understand, and when our love starts to grow, we start to flourish. We start to have things as a together. We start to be comfortable, and we have inner peace. Inner peace is the most greatest gift that a person can ever have. And if you work your program of recovery, you can have your inner peace because you're working on self to make yourself better. The object of the game is to live your best life, clean and sober. Fact that you must understand and never forget. Since you became addicted to drugs, that means you have totally messed your brain up. It is malfunctioning. It's just like a computer. There's a virus that was in there. So what they got to do? They got to take the hard drive out and put a brand new hard drive in. In recovery, we have to change our behavior 110%. That means we have to get up and eat a balanced meal. That means we got to be at work on time and give that man or our employer that work that we have pride on. Have pride about our job. Have pride on how we do our job. Be the best that we can. Like my great-grandfather said, be the best toilet cleaner you can ever be. That's recovery. Admitting your faults, that's recovery. When you make a mistake, admit that you made a mistake. Change your behavior when you have to. Pay attention to yourself and understand why you did the things that you did and why you feel the way you feel at certain times. That's recovery. So, I say all this to say to you is that recovery is a beautiful thing, but it's hard work in a way to make you better. I created a group on Facebook called Living Our Best Lives. And there are people on there that are expressing their happiness about how much time they have. Some of the women are taking pictures on there, feeling good about how they look. Those are the fruits and benefits of being clean and sober. I invite all y'all that are recovering to join. You can join. And post things that happened to you that you've overcame. Give somebody else the promise that it's going to work. Give somebody else the promise that the program works. Give somebody some information that they're going through that may help them. In the program it says, we can't keep it if we don't give it away. Meaning, if we don't keep it active in our minds and having compassion for others, we'll lose it. We will lose it. And if we lose recovery, what are our chances of coming back into recovery? We don't know. The interesting thing is we don't know how long we're going to be here. We don't know how long we're going to live. Do you want to cut your odds down by destroying your life? That's the way I look at it for myself. So, take your time, one day at a time. Don't rush the relationships, they'll come. If you focus on yourself, it'll come to you. Trust me. I've been doing this for a minute now, and things are coming to me because I'm working on self. Things come to me because I'm working on self. My last thought, like I always say, dope has made me a dope. But now I got hope because I'm not a dope anymore. because I'm living clean and sober, living my best life. And that's what I want for you to live your best life. Y'all have a great day.